Hi everyone, it's Teresa Green with Slow Pass Wellness, and today is Mindful Monday. For today's Mindful Monday, I want to make a connection between mindfulness and self-care, because a big part of mindfulness is the idea of what we usually talk about embodiment, about being in our body, about really feeling feelings, really feeling sensations, focusing on bringing my awareness to my heart, or bringing my awareness to my head and going down my head, down my torso, down my knees, to my feet, and checking in with our body. It's all very important parts of mindfulness, and really the basis of where a lot of mindful things come from and where a lot of the benefits of mindfulness comes. But mindfulness is also being aware of what you need, and of being aware of it enough so that you can take action to make sure that you're getting what you need. And boundaries are part of that, and we can talk about that another time. But understanding that your needs are important, recognizing them, and then being able to find a way to get those fulfilled is a really important part of mindfulness. So what we're going to talk about today in that part of mindful, compassionate self-care is giving yourself a way to handle routines when your routine is interrupted. This time of year, a lot of people are traveling. A lot of people are having changes to their schedule. They're having changes to their food. Sometimes they're having either being a lot more busy or a lot less busy. And I know if you're anything like me, that can really wreak havoc on routines that you may be doing that are very healthy for you. I know for me, sometimes when we're traveling, I normally walk a couple miles a day, and sometimes when we're traveling, that's hard to do because the time isn't there, or I'm not familiar with the area I'm in. I don't feel comfortable necessarily walking outside in a strange area, and may not have access to a treadmill or something like that. But I know it's really important to try to make sure movement is part of my life every day, because I have things going on health-wise that's really important for. So what do you do in those cases? How do you manage to maintain your routines to a level that's really healthy for you, and not be frustrated, or not reap the benefits of those routines, or not allow yourself the flexibility to be able to really enjoy the situations that you're in? If, for instance, it's a food issue and you have all these beautiful, wonderful foods, but they're not on your diet, and and in your particular case, changing your diet for a day or two isn't disastrous, because for some people it is. For some people, they have to say, yeah, I can't have the gluten, or I can't have the dairy, or I can't have the sugar, even though it's beautiful, because it just doesn't work for me health-wise. But for some people it does, and to have that flexibility when you can I think is an important part of life. So the first thing for having that kind of flexibility that also keeps enough of your routine so that you're taking care of yourself properly is to be mindful of what you actually need. So if, in order for, in my case, I talked about walking, I have an old back injury that if I don't move around enough, that I'll have a lot of back pain. So for me, skipping my walks entirely is a really bad idea. That does not manage my self-care. That does not help me enjoy my life. Does not help me really be present when I go somewhere and visit someone else or visit another place. So I do my best to make sure that I've given myself what I do need. So I may not have a 2-mile walk that I can get in, but every time we stop for gas, every time we stop for lunch, every time we just stop because we want to stop, I walk somewhere. I'll go, if we're stopping for gas and there's nowhere around the gas station that looks like a good place to walk, I'll look for the nearest strip mall. I'll pull in, I'll walk around the parking lot once or twice, get back into the car and go. And then I'll do that again. Now, I probably don't add up to 2 miles. I might, if it's a lot of stops, might add up to 15 minutes walking total. But I'm giving myself the gift of what I need in the format that I can do it in a way that works within the rest of my life when my schedule is off. And that's usually enough. Now, sometimes I still have a little bit of problem because I'm not getting exactly the same thing I'm used to. But just that little bit of moving into the space of trying to keep your routine to a certain extent is very helpful. It does help you physically. It also really helps you mentally and emotionally if you come at it with the right mindset. Now, like many people, I am what you would have to call a recovering perfectionist. I always have the idea of this is the ideal and I need to do the ideal. And nobody ever does the ideal 100% of the time. And B, sometimes the ideal just isn't practical. So being able to cultivate that self-compassion, which is another mindfulness skill, of choosing, I'm going to look at things by how much I moved towards a goal, not necessarily whether I got the goal myself. And I'm going to talk to myself like I like myself, like I'm my own best friend, like I'm somebody I care about. Because if I can't do that for myself, I really can't do it well for other people either. There's going to be something there that's not really as healthy as it could be if I'm not also saying, you know what, I also really want to be good to myself and take care of myself because I'm also worthy of care. So when you get your schedule upset or shaken up by events or things going on, give yourself some self-compassion. Tell yourself, okay, 2-mile walk, my thing, or an hour of meditation, or an hour of planning, or a diet that's very carefully proportioned by this many carbs and this many fats, or whatever it is that you normally do that you find helpful and you enjoy doing. If you can't do it, give yourself some compassion. Give yourself credit for the times you took steps to do that. So if your normal diet involves no processed food, no processed carbs, and all organic, and you had to settle for a veggie plate at a restaurant, and you don't know where the food came from, and there might have been some sauce on it, and it won't make you sick. I mean, if it makes you sick, that's different. Then you say, okay, this may not be the restaurant for me. But if it's just a matter more of, I can't live up to the highest standards that I have for myself at this moment in time, but one day of it is not going to be a problem to anything but my critical self-talk, then give yourself credit. Okay, I could have ordered chili cheese dog with fries and a milkshake, and instead I got the veggie plate. Might not be organic, but I did the best I could. I'm giving myself the best that I can give myself, and that's good. And having that mindset is good in so many ways. One, you're getting healthier, whatever it is that you're doing. If you're giving yourself a 5-minute break to recenter yourself and calm yourself when you're in a room with a whole lot of people, when you might normally have a 30-minute time where you read or study and you're just not able to do that. Okay, well that's a positive. You're giving yourself some of what you need. The other thing it does that's extremely important is it works with your mindset. And mindset can make such a big difference in your health. 2 people doing exactly the same health things, but with a different mindset about them, can have dramatically different outcomes. If one person's mindset is, I'm doing the things that I can do, I'm taking the steps I can do, and I'm giving myself credit for that, and I'm hopeful and looking forward to the positives of that, they're going to have a much better mindset than the person that's like, well, this is all I can do. I really need to be able to do this thing, that I can't do it, and I don't really have a lot of choices, and it's probably not going to be as good as it could be anyway. They're going to have very different mindsets. And at least one study I read about a long time ago, so I can't quote it, help you go find it or anything. One study I read said that in 2 groups of people eating, where one group had the happier, healthier mindset and one group didn't, the healthier mindset group people ate less healthy food than the non-healthy mindset people. They ate healthy food with a miserable mindset. And the miserable food people, happy mindset people, actually had better health outcomes at the end of the study period. Now, that's vague because I don't remember all the details, but I think it's important. I think it's important to understand that your mindset can really affect your health, really affect your enjoyment of life, and especially right now when there's a lot of times when you're doing things that involve socializing with other people, you really want to enjoy that time. You want to be able to say, I've connected with other people who are important to me. I'm enjoying that. I'm enjoying some of the celebrations that we're having with food and events and things like that. And you want to be able to really enjoy it. You don't want to be critical. You don't want to be always seeing the negative in it, not just because it's not much fun and sure isn't a lot of fun to be around, but because it affects your health. It affects your ability to really enjoy your life and to really be healthy. Your immune system reacts differently when everything you're looking for is something wrong. your immune system does the same thing. It starts looking for everything that could be wrong, and at least some researchers are connecting that to autoimmune disease. That if your constant mindset is seeing a threat, your body starts looking for threats inside too, even when there aren't any. So they've made some connection, thinking that there may be some connections to autoimmune disease. So today's Mindful Monday is about a combination of mindfulness, self-care, and mindset. So bring your mindfulness to your situation, to things that might be different right now with a different schedule or different priorities or different requirements that you don't normally have. Recognize them. Then give yourself some self-compassion and some self-care where you're making the determination of what you really need to do and making sure you have that, while giving yourself the gift of flexibility for things that you may be better off not doing to quite the same level or quite the same strictness that you might do in your day-to-day routines. And you're also giving yourself credit for the fact that you're making that determination and taking that empowering step to be able to navigate something that's different, and having the flexibility to do that and not having to be perfect at it. And then finally, having the mindset of, I'm doing things in a way that is good. I'm doing things in a way that is good for me. I'm making the effort to be able to enjoy the things that are going on right now, the things that are interrupting my schedule, hopefully for good reasons for most people. And I'm hoping for a benefit for all the good things that I'm putting out there. So I wish you a very happy Mindful Monday, and I will see you next week.